We're attempting something we have never done before this week.
We're going to attempt to boondock for 7 days.
So far, all of the boondocking we have done has been specifically at Harvest Hosts. So this is a really unique experience. First, we have to find where we're gonna go.
At our last campground, we met these 2 wonderful gentlemen, and they had been boondocking and full-timing for 15 years, so they have a lot of experience. They gave us this map. They even mapped out exactly where we should go. So the plan is to scout the territory, make sure that we can get the Airstream in there, come back, and then hook up.
Since we know boondocking specifically means that we are gonna have to be careful about our power and our water, there are some things that we're not gonna be able to do. One of those things that we do on a regular basis is make smoothies every morning, so I'm gonna get the last one in. I got up at like 5 o'clock this morning so that I could prep our food for the week, because just because we're gonna have to worry about power and water doesn't mean we shouldn't be eating healthy. I sure am gonna miss this week. With breakfast to go, we're ready to go scout those spots. We got this smart idea to scout for a site from a friend that we met at another boondocking spot. They told us that sometimes if it's not like really a designated spot, that it can be really bumpy, the clearance can be crazy, so it's better to check it out before you have your RV attached. So we figured that made perfect sense. We're keeping our fingers crossed that one of the first places that we check will be perfect. In true Wanderlocal fashion, that didn't happen. A few of the spots we found were through Campendium, but I made the mistake of moving the addresses into Google My Maps, which is what we use to plan our travels, instead of using the GPS link in the app. BTW, that doesn't work. We found ourselves in the parking lot of a brand new hotel in downtown Sedona. Thankfully, the in-app links work great, and we found those delightfully off-road sites that our friends had told us about.
After scouting all day yesterday, we finally found and locked in on a sweet spot. We met some fellow campers. They're holding a spot for us. I'm not sure if that's proper boondocking etiquette, but that's what's happening. And we've got a few last minute preparations before we hit the road to head to our new spot. The first essential ingredient for boondocking is water. So the first thing we're gonna do is fill up our freshwater tank. I'm turning off the city line water, and then I'm gonna take the filtered water and connect it to the freshwater tank. I went ahead and ordered these quick release adapters thanks to some comments, so appreciate that. It's gonna spray it. Okay, so unfortunately the combination of the quick release adapters and slinky hoses means you have this explosion of water. Yeah, so now that we've dried off, I'm gonna stick the hose in here, and I'm just gonna have Lauren turn on the water so we don't have to worry about any more splashes. Now, while the freshwater tank is filling, I'm getting our water jugs ready to go. And we'll be using this not as drinking water, but just as everyday use water. We can use this potentially to shower, we can use this to flush toilets if we need to, and so on. Each one of these is 5.3 gallons, and you can find these items in our Amazon store. Oh, okay. The idea is that they're collapsible, and that makes them more convenient because you can put them away when you're not using them. The downside, of course, is that it's a pain in the butt to unfold them. Based on the sounds that I'm hearing, I would estimate that it is now between 0 and 100%, somewhere in that range. Okay, just ran back inside to check the percentage of fresh water. It looks like we're at 80% so far. I would estimate this to be at 100%. I can confirm. All right, good to go. First tank is full. Maybe a little overfilled. Just to be safe, I think I'm gonna keep these in the shower, just in case one of them breaks open. I'm not saying they will, but just in case. I'm about to do a speed dump. We've got to dump our tanks before we head out to do some boondocking.
Hello, Magnum PIG. Don't worry, we'll spare you the grody part.
And so begins our boondocking trek to our spot.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous are you?
Probably like an 8, mostly because the road was bumpy with just the truck. Now we're adding 30 feet of length, and Airstreams are typically lower to the ground than most RVs. And we didn't see any long Airstreams back there, so probably like an 8.5 on the nervous scale.
It's exactly 4.7 miles from the entrance, and it says it'll take us 14 minutes. We'll see about that. As expected, it's bumpy and nerve-wracking. We're holding our breath.
It's a very riveting experience, isn't it?
If we don't have rivets popping out of this thing by the time we get there, it's gonna be a miracle.
Rivet, rivet, another rivet. Okay, we're almost there. 0.3 miles to go, and we've had a lot of ups and downs, like literally ups and downs.
Okay, the view here is spectacular. Let's see how much damage was done actually getting here. Who knows, if we get almost all the way through the week and still have water, maybe we'll even wash the Airstream. It's been a while since I've done this. Hi, Sampson.
Cameo.
This is our new neighbor, Sampson, and he's very friendly. Excuse me, buddy. It looks like we did all right. The pantry is open, but the pillows on the bed aren't even moved.
Let's do a rivet check. Surprisingly, 0 rivets were popped. That's a true testament to the craftsmanship of the Airstream, because we just went down a road that was bumpity bumpy the whole time, and I thought for sure there would be like 1,000 rivets based on what everybody always says happens when you go down bumpy roads, but not even one lost. That's huge. Blueberries down. All the blueberries. Yes, I'm also wearing purple socks, don't judge me.
Now that we're officially all set up, there are a couple of boondocking supplies that we need. That's part of why we decided to do this in Sedona. We're close enough to a big city where we can go get supplies. Supplies secured. And maybe plus a few. One of the things that we learned that has nothing to do with boondocking, but is about living in an RV or even just staying in one, it's really important what toilet paper you pick. Very, 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 very important that it says septic friendly, because otherwise you'll have a mess on your hands that you really don't want to deal with. But back and in alignment with our boondocking adventure for this week, paper plates and cups are very important. And although I have some really lovely eco-friendly versions, we kind of need the big ones since we're going to be doing this for a week. So we got it covered.
We're settling into our first true boondocking experience. But before I take you through the next step here, and back to reality, we're in the desert. It's going to get cold tonight. We're gonna need some generators, so we're gonna hook up the Jennies as quickly as possible because the sun is going down. And just because we're boondocking doesn't mean we're gonna put our Airstream at risk. We've got our 50 amp surge protector. We've got our dog bone connector. One of the many things that we have learned from the comments and the advice that you guys have shared is that we only need one of these generators to power the Airstream. We're not gonna be running AC, and this will power a majority of our basic electronic devices. These look like your typical outlet you would find at home. This is from the dog bone. I connect my 50 amp. Now what I've been told also through comments is that you shouldn't just power your Airstream directly on startup. You should power your generator up, let it run to the surge protector, and then once everything's up and running, then connect the power. Good power. Okay. So far so good. And we got a 5-gallon gas can. We're gonna keep it right by the generator. The generator holds 0.8 to 0.9 gallons, and it's a 5-gallon gas can. So that should give us roughly 5 to 7 nights worth of power.
After a restful night's sleep, we got up bright and early the next morning because Sampson's parents and our new boondocking friends, Ron and Terry, invited us on an exciting Red Rocks adventure. Sedona is an outdoor wanderer's dream. With over 200 trails covering 300 miles of breathtaking scenery, there's something for everyone. The first trail we're exploring is Broken Arrow. It's a 2.5-mile trail, and when you visit, go early in the morning because it can get super busy fast. It's not exactly hard to understand why. The views are majestic, and whether you hike, bike, or explore in an ATV like this one, I promise you will not be disappointed. The second trail we explored was Schnibley Hill Road. It's an 11.8-mile road, really only fit for all-terrain vehicles, but it's traversed by normal trucks too. It offers spectacular views of the Red Rocks with steep drop-offs. It made me a little bit nervous, but it was really fun to ride.
Just took a shower. After our amazing adventure today, we had dust everywhere. This is sort of part of the adventure. I use 8.6% of the gray water tank, but of the freshwater tank, which is 54 gallons, I've only used 2%. 2%, well worth the shower.
If you've been following along on our crazy Airstream journey, you probably expected us boondocking for a full week to be full of all sorts of mayhem.
This one is definitely blown.
It is?
It's so windy out here.
Our tank heaters aren't working. But honestly, it was so easy and fun. We had great internet, so working during the days was easy. We played board games at night and spent time with our new friends. Then we got a phone call. After 5 days boondocking, it's time to hit the road. Not because we couldn't stay longer. Instead, we found out that some of our best friends are going to Vegas, which is only a few hours from here. So we decided we'd go meet them.
Well, the good news, we didn't even need these 5-gallon water jugs. Over the course of 5 days, we used 0 of the 20 gallons. You definitely want to dump some weight before you head out on the open road. It's not a bad thing to water the plants before you leave.
You may hear a really annoying sound in the background. It's our generator! And while functionally these have been great this week, we've only used one, so we didn't consume a lot of gas, and we really only used them either at night or a couple hours in the day to power our electronics. but this thing is loud and annoying. So to say that we are more interested in lithium batteries than we have ever been after this week would be the understatement of the century. So if you have a lithium battery system that you love, please leave a comment below and tell us about it, because we are gonna get serious about researching these things. I learned a really cool trick from some of our boondocking neighbors, and it's that baby wipes aren't just for those showers that you can't necessarily take on a daily basis. They're also great for dishes. You take a baby wipe and you just simply wipe out all the extra food that's on the sides. I mean, it's not like the most pleasant thing ever, but it totally works, and it makes it 100 times easier to wash the dish, and you need less water. The inside is officially ready. And one of the things that's important about boondocking is you want to make sure that you have all of your trash and you take it with you. Because just like any other type of camping, it's important that you leave your camping site exactly how you found it, or better. But opening this door all the way reminded me of a very important step. We have a new state to put on the map. If you have an Airstream, make sure that you always lock that in place, because apparently we've heard this is one of the easiest ways to break this door. Granted, I almost always forget, but you don't have to.
And one thing we definitely can't forget, our friends Lois and Clark. They've been sticking around all week, but it's time to pack up and head on out.
One more inch.
This is beginner's tip. The very first thing you do when you get to a campground is to set your chocks. The very last thing you do before you leave a campground is to pull your chocks. Most important tip ever. These are my Anderson Leverlers. If you don't have a set of these, they're pretty much the best for leveling. I love the Anderson Leverlers.
Just when we thought we were gonna hit the road with no disasters on our boondocking adventure, this happened. We're so glad Rob's okay. He scared the crap out of us this morning.
He did. His tires just gripped while he was making a U-turn, and it just flipped.
I thought my heart was gonna explode.
Honestly, y'all, they have a YouTube channel coming. This is a good example of why you should definitely follow them.
Okay, ease it forward. And it's gonna fall down when it comes. Another adventure. That's all I can say.
After saying goodbye to the Glampdockers, we were on our way to complete the last step of our boondocking week.
We're gonna find some place to dump our tanks before we head on over to Vegas.
My typical go-to for finding a dump is Campendium, but in this particular instance, they didn't have one along our route. So I did a quick Google and found rvdumps.com, and they have this cool little map that shows all of the places in the United States. So probably not really comprehensive, but we were easily able to find one. Ta-da! The Lowe's that we're at here. So not too hard.
Okay. Oh, got it.
Just for the record, this place smells ick, and don't forget to wear closed-toed shoes to this kind of thing. It's a dump after all.
All done. Just arrived in Vegas. Between Sedona and Las Vegas, it took us approximately 7-ish hours. That includes grabbing lunch, stopping for fuel, dumping the tanks, dumping, and everything in between. But in total, about 7 hours-ish.
We made it to Vegas. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our channel, because you will not want to miss this crazy adventure where I have to jump off a building that I do not want to jump off of.
So excited.